Hello, welcome to Higher Ground Gaming. This is Eric. Today we're going to do another unboxing. This is going to be an unboxing of the game Orleans and its two expansions, Invasion and Trade and Intrigue. All published originally by DLP Games and then taken up, republished by TMG Games. So these are three games that one game with the two expansions that we've been wanting to get for a while. We got the Invasion expansion in, and then we ordered the other two games, so we kind of did it a little backwards. So the first expansion is Invasion, the second expansion is Trade and Intrigue. So the Invasion expansion is really big and meaty, and the second expansion, Trade Intrigue, there has some cool elements to it. Although I'm not sure I'm going to use all of the elements in there. But anyway, so definitely, it's a game where you can play many different ways thanks to the expansions, and we'll go over that as we do. So it's going to be a little bit long here, so I'll try to leave a timestamp. You know, if you want to see this again, it's just going to be an unboxing primarily. Although we'll go a little bit into gameplay, but primarily it's going to be an unboxing. There are plenty of good videos on the gameplay of the game, since it is, I believe it's still in the top 20 of B Board Game Geek, so it's really high up there. I want to say around number 13, somewhere around 13, 14, somewhere around there, last time I looked. Anyway, but it's going to be a little bit longer of a video, so without further ado, let's get this game underway, and we'll start with the base game. So I'm going to cut for a second there and then go into the base game itself. Alright, so here's the base game, Orleans. Game that takes place in France. It's a game for 2 to 4 players. 90 minutes it looks like. And it's for ages 14 and above, so it's a little bit higher of an age. I could probably say a little bit younger you could probably play it, but anyway, nice thick heavy box here with lots of components. So let's look at the back here. So in the back here it says, during the medieval goings on around Orleans, you assemble a following of farmers, merchants, knights, monks, etc. You need followers and their abilities to expand your dominance, putting them to work as traders, builders, and scientists. Knights expand your scope of action and secure your mercantile expeditions. Craftsmen build trading stations and tools to facilitate work. Scholars make progress in science. And last but not least, you cannot hurt to get active in monasteries, since with monks on your side, you're much less likely to fall prey to fate. You'll also want to take more actions than possible, and there are many paths to victory. The challenge is to combine all elements as best as possible in regard to your strategy. So this is a bag building game. You're going to collect all these different types of workers and use them in different buildings and whatnot across the board to take different actions. Lots of different tracks in here, as you'll see. And player board is pretty expansive too, which you can add buildings and stuff too. But this is primarily a competitive game. The expansions, as you'll see later, an Invasion will add a cooperative mode, which is a nice addition to the game, as well as a few solo scenarios too. There are some solo scenarios on Board Game Geek for this, just the base game, but I picked up the Invasion primarily to have some set, things by the designer. So anyway, so here it is right here, TMG Games, Orleans. Let's open it up. I'm sure there's going to be lots of stuff to punch out in this one, but definitely really excited to get this. And this is a game that we'll play pretty often, I imagine. I just love the element of bag building. So it's not a lot of player interaction in the base game. It's competitive, but there are in the some of the expansions there. So let's take a look and see what we have here. So on the outside we have Harbor. It's like a game by TMG Games. Belfort. I haven't heard of that one. Gold West. And Yokohama. I think I've heard of Yokohama, but anyway. Ooh, some nice bags in there, looks like. Alright, so here are the instruction manual. And you can see the expansion there for... Oh, this is for the expansion and advertisement for that. I did not pay $49.95. So I paid less than that, so much less than that, I believe, on for Miniature Market for the expansion. That's why I got it there. But this is from the retailer, costs that much, so an advertisement there, and then an advertisement for Trade and Intrigue, and we paid less than that too on Amazon for that. So again, this is for the one player, 1 to 4 players, and then this one added 1 to 4 players too. There is a 5th player expansion which we don't have yet. It's basically just adds a 5th player, so we may pick that up. But again, I don't really play with 5 players now, at least not that often. But anyway, all right. So let's see here. So here's our rule book here. It's not too thick. So it gives all the component breakdown there on the front cover. Definitely how to the setup. And we did get some nice things on Board Game Geek too, because this game's been out for a while. I think 2013, 14, maybe a little, not quite that long. Yeah, I can't remember exactly the year. Anyway, it's shown on the back here. No, I guess not. It's a 12-page rule book. Oh, here it is. 2014. Looks like it came out. Yep. Okay, so that's the setup. Goals of the game. That's nice when you have a goal of the game right there. How to set up for 2 players. So there's going to be some variants. How to use the different buildings. What you need to do. You're different. I know there's 18, I believe 18 rounds to this game, which seems like a lot. And I think there's like 6 or 7 steps to each round. But a lot of them you can do simultaneously, so they go pretty fast. So unless you have somebody with analysis paralysis, it should go fairly quickly. So it's not too bad. And then end-game scoring. So look, it's pretty straightforward. I've watched a number of playthroughs on this. These are the tiles in detail and what they do. So you have to place the workers on them, and depending upon what you draw, that titles what you can place, and you can expand your drawing by getting extra knights and so forth. So, but lots of different buildings in this, and the general rules of the game in the back, which is kind of interesting to have that in the back. The different events and what happens. I think these are different types of events, and there's going to be 6 different types, and so I think 3 of each of the types. So it's going to be pilgrimage, plague, taxes, trading day, income, and harvest. Yeah, there's 3 of each type. Okay. All right, so those are the instructions. Here are the bags, because it is a bag building game. So we get some residue on the bags here. Not the greatest feeling bag, kind of a little bit rough in the hand, but it's all right. Different colors, functional, plenty big enough to get your hand in, looks like. Oh yeah, that's good. Not like the, I think Dice Settlers game that we got, that the bags were pretty small, but these are nice size, and it looks like you get 4 colors. So definitely interesting colors here. Alright, so those are the bags. These are your, it looks like your trading posts and everything. Whatever you call them. I don't know. They call it trading posts in here. That's in Amerigo I'm thinking of. Trading stations. Trading stations, okay. So these are your trading stations for each color. I'll just show you one of the colors. These are decent wooden, actually these are the, not the trading stations, these are the cubes that go on the different tracks. And then here are the trading stations right here. It's a little small, but again, it's got to fit on the board, so going to be a little bit smaller. So anyway, these are the different colors. Your 4 colors: yellow, blue, like red, and green. So that's them. And now the fun part right here, which I love to do this stuff. Lots of stuff to punch out. Definitely some good thickness here. Decent thickness anyway. Yeah, good. Tiles and everything. Let's just try that. Yeah, they punch out fairly easily. So decent thickness. And then these are your citizens right here, which you're going to collect on your different tracks, your goods. And there are some really good upgrades to this where you can get like wooden pieces of wheat and cheese and all that stuff, and your meeples. You can get like customized meeples, and the citizens, I think you can upgrade those too. Coins, I think you can probably get coins for them, but again, not necessary, but they do add to the game. If it's a game I'm going to keep around for a while, I may do some of the upgrades for it. So this is the back side of the tokens here. These are building type 1s. That's why they have the 1s there. And then these are, again, your events right here that are going to occur. And these are your goods. The backs of the goods. All right, let's see. Another goods board right here. Some more tiles. And those are the cheese right there, looks like. And the events. So pretty much similar to the other board, except, with different buildings. Lots of stuff to punch out, which I love. So again, more stuff. Looks like wine right there, because we are in France. And there's a winery, of course. Laboratory, tailor, cheese factory. Let's see which ones we have here. Herb garden, brewery, windmill, hospital, wool manufacturer, shipping lane, hayrick, and a library. And let's see what we got here. Oh, so it looks like little player aids here, maybe. Not sure exactly what this is. It might be a little player aid. Again, we've got pharmacy, gunpowder tower, horse wagon, school. Cool. And again, more goods. That's wool right there, probably. I can't remember what the name of this one is. It's a special name for that type of good. Punch board number 5. You have your cellar, office, bathhouse. I know there were some in the initial printing of the game. There were some misprintings in the bathhouse, but I'm sure they corrected this because I believe this is the reprint version. I think this is 2017. It was reprinted in. So, all right, sacristy. That's like the monastery, I guess. You get your monks, and more events and everything, more people. And here we go. Here's the fun stuff. These are your workers right here. These are super thick. These are nice. I like these. So it's technology tokens. Nice thickness right here. Again, you can upgrade these, which I may do in the long run, but for now, these are great. Very uniform, very thick. Not quite as thick as in Pioneer days, but pretty thick. Pretty thick, though. Pretty close. Definitely nice. Nice quality and everything. And the ones with the player colors on them, those are your starter workers. So you start off with 4 starter workers here. And your craftsman, a boatman, farmer, and tradesman of some sort. Craftsman. I think that's a craftsman right there, and that's a trader. There you go. So you start with the 4 right here of each color. And then these are the other ones you'll pick up along the way. And these are technology tokens, which you can replace, which makes sense thematically. You can get one of these and put these on to replace some of your workers on those cards, so you don't have to pick as many up, and these still stay where you put them. And there are some restrictions to them. Anyway, this is your first player token here, the shield. So lots of these, which is really nice. 2 pages of these. So you get 2 first player tokens, which is kind of strange. And more workers, knights, monks, scholars, and so forth. And your board. Player boards here. Very nice player boards. And I think these are all upside down. These are all the same. But you get your different places where you can put your workers, your ship, your wagon if you want to travel, guild hall if you want to build your trading stations, castles, scriptorium, town hall, monastery, farmhouse, village, which you can do. You can get your workers here for them. Castles allow you to get your knights. University to get your scholars. And monasteries here to get your monks. And then your market, this is when you draw your tokens here, you put them here. And your bag can increase by getting more knights. So you draw a certain amount there. So very cool. You can see why this is so heavy. These boards are very thick. Nice quality. Definitely great components add to the game. Right there. So these are all the same. These are the 4-player boards. And then you're going to get your common boards here. Which I think this one's called Town Hall. So this will allow you to put workers on these boards here out of your bag. If you want to thin out your bag, like say you got a bunch of farmers you don't really want, you can put them right here. And then once this track is filled up, I think you'll get extra coin for putting them there, and then you'll put your townsfolk here, which you can collect here. So some of them are easier than others, of course. So you have your building of City Hall, Papal Conclave, defeating the plague, astronomy, founding of the Boatman Guild. So of course you can put boatmen's there. Building of the cathedral, which makes sense. You get your monks and scholars and your craftsmen. I believe. Peace treaty. So not canalization. So not very heavy thematic game, but it does have some theme to it. So it's kind of neat though. So again, this board right here was, I believe, updated in the expansion, which the trade in the invasion, I think it was. It's either that one. It's either that one or the Trade Intrigue. I can't remember which one, but one of them, I think it was Trade Intrigue. It was expanded and pretty much makes this one obsolete because this is kind of a boring thing where you just get townsfolk. And the other one, you're going to get goods and everything else too at the end. So, and it goes to the last person to place their tile in here to fill it up. Will get the townsfolk there. And here is your, wow, this is a super heavy board. So I'm going to cut for a second, and then I'll set up the board and show you the main board here. All right, so here's your main board here. Didn't have to really scroll out as much as I thought it would. It's not as big as I thought I was. So it's basically all your tracks right here. Let me just show you this right here. So this is where you're going to get your monks. This is your farmer track here. And you'll get extra farmers and some rewards, like goods rewards as you go. See, this is your, I think your craftsman track right here, which you get technology tokens as you go in here. This is your builder. So your builder, you'll get different buildings as you go. Here you get your fishing guy, or boatman. You'll get coins as you go up here. And at the end of a lot of these tracks, well, this one anyway, you'll get a townfolk. Get townfolk here. These are your knights. Your hand size will go up. Your bag size, pretty much. How many people you draw each time. And that is your scholar track right here, which allows to your scholar, where you pick up extra scholars right here. And this allows you to move on this track right here. And this track at the end is multiplied by something. I can't remember exactly what it is, but it's a little short math problem to figure out how many points you get, how far you are here. You multiply it by however distance you've reached on your scholar track here. This is where you put all your goods right here. Sorry. And then over here, this is Oleon up here. And then these are all the different places you can travel. You can travel on the rivers, and you can travel along roads, and you'll put the your goods right here. Randomly set up the goods, and then you get to build trading stations in each one of these right here. So that's pretty much it right there for the base game. Let's show you the back of this. Back is just Oleon right there. I'll just show you that. So they did a little bit with the backs, which is nice. Alright, so that is Oleon, the base game. So we're going to cut for a second. I'll leave trying to leave a timestamp in here, and we'll go on to the big expansion, the Invasion, which may take a little while to do. Alright, so here comes the Invasion. Alright, here's the first expansion to Oleon, Invasion. This added a lot to the game, a huge amount to the game, including a cooperative mode, some solo scenarios, and I think even some regular additions to the base game. So here we go. So this is Oleon's Invasion. Again, this added a solo, so 1 to 5 players, and to play the 5th player, you'll actually need to get the 5th player expansion, which I do not have, but may pick up eventually. It's pretty cheap, actually. I know it's like around $15, so it's pretty cheap. So all right, so let's take a look at this right here. So let's make sure everything's in focus here. So the Oleon's base game is required to play this expansion, of course. So New World's an old bag. After many years of peace and quiet, Oleon's is facing turmoil. Invaders are threatening the city. So that's I believe the cooperative expansion is the Invaders. It's time to leave the competition behind and join forces in protecting Oleon. Discover totally new worlds around the popular bag building game in 6 scenarios. So it's going to have Invasion, which is the cooperative scenario. Prosperity, which is a scenario for 2 to 5 players. So that's one of the regular that was added to the base game. And then 3. Let's see. Oh yeah, and then the Duel, which is a 2-player variant, which I forgot about. So you can play against one other player. So that's kind of a nice addition to the game. And then a solo, 3 solo scenarios. So they have and they're in increasing difficulty too, from easy to hard, which is nice. I've seen all 3 of them played. I believe it's One Stop Co-op Shop has played through all those scenarios, and I know Slicker Dips has played through. I think the Prosperity one. I'm not sure if anyone's played through the Duel one. I'm sure it's out there somewhere. I don't know if I've watched it yet. But the Invasion one, I know One Stop Co-op Shop did too. He did it with his wife. Colin did it with his wife. So anyway, there are some, and there are the various other ones too. I've watched through. I know I think Gray Elephant did one, which I haven't watched yet. I'm in the process of watching, and a few others. So all right, and I know Watch It Played has done a playthrough of the base game. So all right, so there's a whole bunch of context here. I'm not going to go through and read this, but this came out in, let's see here. And again, this is a $60 MSRP. We didn't pay that. We paid, I think, less than 40, a little bit less than 40 on that. But it's got a ton of stuff in it, so it is a little expensive, but it does have a ton of stuff, which adds a lot to the game. Where is the year? I think it's like 2015 or something like that. This came out 15 or 16. But anyway, we'll check that out. So let's open up this box. So it's not quite as heavy as the other box, as the base game, but almost, but just as big in size. So it's definitely as they say, a big box expansion. And a designer, I don't know if I mentioned, the first one is a Reiner Stockhausen, and Inca and Marcus Brand. I think that is just for the Invasion. I know Reiner Stockhausen is the designer. And again, by TMG Games, originally by DLP Games. So there we go. So let's take a look and see what we have in the box. So, all Okay, so this I think rule book is even thicker than the one for the base game. So it gives you your different scenarios here. Your prosperity scenario, which adds to the is the cooperative one. The invasion. Actually, no, I'm sorry. Prosperity is the regular for the base game. Expands the base game, and then you have your invasion, which is 2 to 5 players cooperative. The duel, which is the 2-player version. The dignitary is one of the solo ones. That's the easier one. Is a solo scenario where you are an actually, let me go through all these right here. So the first one, prosperity, expands the base game 2 to 5 players with a carpenter and structures that provide additional victory points. Of course, this game is all about victory points, being a euro. And the second one is an impending invasion threatens 2 to 5 players must work together to fend off the attack. The duel challenges 2 players to prove themselves in a competition of merchants. That one looks really fun. Collecting goods and everything, go around to the utilizes the map really well. The dignitary is a solo experience in which you are an important dignitary trying to gather as many citizens as possible. So that's where you use your town folk. You set them up a little differently than you do in the base game. So that's the easier one. Capital Verizon is the medium difficulty one. There's another solo scenario challenging you to develop Verizon to become the capital of its region. Okay. And then the last one is the hardest one. The Traveling Salesman this one looks really good too. Is a solo player plays the role of a salesman traveling through the country and delivering valuable goods to the farthest of places. And finally, there's an appendix in here, which gives you details on the new tiles, because there are a bunch of new tiles and event tiles as well as buildings and whatnot. But we'll go through those shortly. All right, so let's just flip through. We'll flip through the book here really quick. See if I can get around here. So this is your setup, of course, for the. So there's going to be all kinds of different setups here. So this will start with the basic components that are in the box for everything, and then it'll give you explains what the carpenter does and everything, and then it goes through each one of these is going to be. This is the invasion. The first one was the prosperity. So each scenario is going to have a different setup to it. And again, there's a lot of great aids too on Board Game Geek. So, in addition to the ones that come in the box here, all the new cards and what they do and everything. You're gonna have personal objectives in this one. So this one adds some asymmetricalness to it. You can be like a librarian, a mayor, fisherman, scholar, general, and merchant. I think these go for the invasion, the cooperative version. So you'll have personal objectives as well as private goals for the scenario. So that's kind of neat. I imagine you could use these probably in the original competitive game too, if you wanted to. Possibly. You have common objectives here. Let's see here. And then you got some more councilman and innkeeper. And then you have your new building cards. New event cards, sorry. So you have donation, drought, earthquake, escape, good trade, good wins. So there's some good as well as bad ones. Highwayman, progress, reinforcement, support, training, trip, a wool market, arson. So stack B is where the worst ones come out. And I think you only use a certain amount of each one in each scenario. So it looks like there's 15. Stack A has assembly and demolition. Stack A has 16, and I think you only use 9 or so of those. I'm not sure exactly how many rounds it goes, but you only use a certain amount of the events in each scenario, so it adds to the replayability, which is nice. And then Stack B is going to have 14, and Stack C is just the invasion. So you have to complete all your tasks by the time the invasion comes. And at any point in this game, I think in the original game, well, in this one anyway, in the scenario, you're unable to meet any of the things in here. Like you don't have enough gold or enough goods or whatever it is. Then I think the game will end. But there's various ways you can get those goods. You can sell stuff off and sell your workers back and whatnot. to get coin for that. So yeah, so that's that one. There's the duel, which I think I heard that this one could be played solo too. It almost is like a solo one. I think it's this one. So there's the duel there, and then there's the dignitary, the setup and everything. And I know some of them use some different boards and stuff in them. Events. So this is the Capital Verazon one, and then this one is the Traveling Salesman. So, and then finally the appendix with the new play styles: the Market Stand, the Tavern, the Well, Black Market, Vineyard, Depot, and Stagecoach. And I know there's also too an expansion. I mean, a couple little mini expansions which you can get, like a couple of extra buildings like taverns and whatnot too, which is kind of neat. So then it looks like some of your credit. No, different. Oh, the events overview, what the events do and everything. So 2 pages on that. So this one's a little bit thicker. This one's 24 pages, and again, there's a lot inside this box, which is really, really cool. So I think this is the. Oh, these are thinner. So these are thinner, which is fun. Which is okay. But they're for all the different scenarios. So this is for the prosperity scenario. So you're going to use this board here for that. So it looks like the 16 events instead of the 18. But again, this one, anytime you can't meet any of this stuff, it's game over. But these are set in stone, I guess. So the prosperity one, I guess there isn't as much replayability, but I guess there is because of the different characters you can play and everything too. So, but the events are the ones that are set in stone there, it looks like. And then you have to achieve these things here for prosperity. Okay, so using that one, which is fine. Let's see here. This one, this is for the duel. So it looks like this one has 16 events also. And different things you have to make, conditions you have to meet in the duel. So that's kind of neat. This one is for the traveling salesman, so you have to be able to go to these different places here and sell goods, buy or sell goods, like it looks like. And this one has 15 events that happen, and these look like they're a little more. Oh, actually, I think in this one you have to. The first 10 events are pretty standard. You have to pay goods or coin, and then in this one here you have to pay just an increased amount in the last 5 rounds. And again, you can't meet any of those, the scenario ends. Alright, so this is the Capital Verazon one. So conditions you got to meet here, and the different events that occur. Okay. And let's see, this one is the dignitary. So this one's got 16 events. These ones are pretty much set. And this one you have to collect citizens. So this one's the easier one, I guess. So you can play it on a easy or a hard, which is just one more citizen. But I guess that makes it. It is significantly harder though, because you place citizens in different places, different from the original setup of the board. So some nice scenarios there. So those are all for the different scenarios. Okay, this one right here looks like this is a couple pieces to this board. I think it's a 2-piece board here, but anyway, I'll just show it to you like this. So this one, let's go with this here first. I think this is first. So this is, I'm not sure. I think this is used in the cooperative one scenario. We have to collect. So you have to accomplish all these goals. I think it's looks like 6 different goals here. So you have to man the city wall with a certain number of guards, depending upon how many players. 2 players are 5, 3 players are 8. I mean, you have to put the knights out here. So not only do you have to accumulate knights, but you have to put them here along the city walls, which makes sense thematically. And then you have to collect citizens here. So 2 you have to collect. Looks like 1, 2, 3, 4, 7, and then more depending upon the player count. These right here are coins. I think it's 30 coins for a 2-player. You have to give for a donation. Fill the city treasury. And then this one is the collect a number of citizen tiles. Here you have to fill the warehouse for the city so they can feed the people, which makes some sense thematically. So it looks like in the 2-player you just got to get up to here, and then 3, 4, and 5 players. And then the last 2 goals right here get that to focus. Build a fortified tower in each of the 12 outer towns. Oh yeah, so these are, you build your stations there, your trading stations. So I think you start with a certain, like 6 or 7, I think 7 of them out, and then you have to build 6 additional ones. And then finally, complete all of your personal objectives would be the 6th one right here. So whatever you have, I think he's like 2 or 3 objectives on your card. So that's for that. And then this one right here looks like it's for one of the other scenarios. So you can get I think you actually do use this in the cooperative. So you have to fill this with workers from your bag in order to get this is one of the ways you can get townsfolk. And then this one here, you can do civil defense by recruiting a bunch of farmers for that. And then if you put a certain amount of goods here, looks like these are the high clothing stores. These are like wool and one of the other goods that produces clothing. Get your worker, and then find the treasury. It looks like if you put a certain amount of coin there, you get a worker from that. And then the catapult, which you put technology tokens on, which makes sense. And then you'll get a worker from that. So definitely a lot in this expansion. And of course, here are the new buildings here. You get vineyard, black market, well. I guess the tavern is in this one. So this might have added some of the ones that were originally mini expansions into this. I'm not sure. There may be some other ones too. Market stand and the stagecoach, which is interesting because that one allows you to travel over water, or land. So it's kind of almost like a duck boat, I guess you could say, what we have around here. But I guess maybe you can put your stagecoach on a raft and put it across in the water. So that's kind of neat. Depot, bourgeois house. I think this is how you put stuff on one of the other boards there. And you can trade stuff amongst other players too in this. I know that. So that's pretty cool. Looks like you got a carpenter board for his carpenter, which allows you to place different types of workers on there. So these are some carpenter boards there. The new events right here. So all the new events. So that's kind of neat. And another carpenter board. Looks like I think everybody's going to get a carpenter board. Every player will get one. And they added one here for the 5th player. That's why you see 5 of these. But you'll have to get the 5th player expansion to play. So lots of more stuff to punch out. So loving it. Really enjoy this stuff. I enjoy punching them out and almost as much as playing the game. But yeah, this is definitely, it's definitely probably one of the highest ranked games I think I might have. Again, this being currently around like 13, 14, 15, somewhere around there. And for good reason. And then these, it looks like some of the, can't remember what these are for. Anyway. So, another worker. And it looks like this is the last part of it. And you get your transport, craft guild, your whole hostel. You can get monks there. And all these allow you to place a worker where somebody else is already, after you've already placed workers there in a building. So it allows you to use a building twice. And I think this one allows you to give coins or whatever, or give, put any workers here and you can give stuff. Actually, this might be the one that allows you to use. I can't remember what this one was. It's either you can give stuff to other players, or you can, which I think that's what this is, or you can use a spot that another worker is on. But definitely some cool stuff. Assembly hall, and then some other tokens up there. And finally, and these are your asymmetric cards, which each player will get. So it looks like a pretty thick deck here, if I can get this open. It looks like you get some player aids on this too. So let me see if I can get this open here. My nails aren't quite long enough to get this open, but we'll get it. So yeah, so we still got one more to go through here. That one I don't think will take as long. Let's see here. Here we go. Okay. So start with the player aids. So let's see what we got here. So it looks like this might be for setup. I think it might be for setup what you use for each. Yeah. So this is how many, it's a neat little card here. Tells you how many to place on the board of each worker. How many are available in 2-player, 3-player, 4-player, and then the 5th player expansion. And let's see what we got here. Not sure. Oh, these I think are different victory point goals, which I think each player will get. So for each combination of these you have in your bag, I think you get 18 points. I believe that's what these are. Yeah. So I think each player will get one of these. Not sure if they're going to be, if these are common goals or if they're individual to the players, but looks like there's a whole bunch of these. I'll show you these. But definitely some cool stuff here. These are for goods and workers, combinations of those. You get lots of points for those. Oops. So it looks like these are the majority of these are going to be like that. I'm sure the different asymmetric things are in here too. So it's mostly goods, it looks like there. So definitely some nice touches to the game. It's like vineyards and cheese. Dairy, it's a dairy place. So of course it's going to require cheese, another dairy it looks like. Lots of these coins. So there's different things to shoot for in the games, which always adds to the game. Man, there's a lot of these. Didn't think there were going to be as many of these as there were. So I guess like the majority of these are going to be like end game type goals. And again, I'm not sure if these are private or public, but definitely adds to the replayability of the game. All right, I think we're nearing the end of this. And finally, we got the different types of players. So you can start. These will be for the cooperative, I believe. So this guy, the innkeeper, will have to have at least 16 VP in grain, cheese, and wine. Each good is worth a certain amount of VP. Build taverns in, which are the so I guess they call it taverns there instead of the storehouses there. Or trading houses. So taverns in certain towns you have to build in. That's the innkeeper. The councilman, you have to. Well, that's the assembly hall, that the board we saw there. So he has to complete that in order to fill his objective. The merchant has to collect a certain amount of goods and money. And this looks like a state manager. Well, looks like he has a whole bunch of stuff to do. Looks like that's for each round. I'm not sure exactly what that's for, but it's got the same backing as the other cards. So, General. So he's got to have 4 technology tiles and complete the night track. Wow. He has to complete the whole night track. Scholar has to complete the scholar track and build 4 trading stations. Fisherman has to complete the boatman track and have 4 monks in your bag and have a 2 wool. Mayor has to have 2 citizen tiles and 10 coins. Personally, I think. And then librarian has to achieve development status of 5 on the development track. And build on which is I think the scholar track too. Build a trading station in Losh, and have 4 place tiles. So he has to have 4 building tiles. So it definitely adds some nice variability to the game. So that is pretty much, and then you have more bags. They give you bags, of course. And it looks like some markers here. It looks like you have a white, I don't know if that's like a mayor or something, a councilman type thing. So wooden pieces here, it looks like. And that's pretty much it. That's all that's in here. So, but a lot of stuff, definitely, which is cool. So it looks like the other expansion is going to have the replacement for the town hall there. So that is Invasion. And so now we're going to put a timestamp here, and then we're going to go to the last Trade and Intrigue and finish up. All right, and here is the last one, Trade and Intrigue. And this one's very thin, so I have to hold it up. As you can see, it's not very thick. So Trade and Intrigue, again by DLP Games originally, and then TMG. It's the second expansion. And it's by Rainer Stockhausen is the developer. And again, this one's a lot thinner, but there's some really, really good stuff in here. So, it looks like you're going to have orders, intrigue, new beneficial deeds, and new events. So, the invasion has been thwarted successfully, and it's time to rise to prosperity again with spirited trade. Everyone has different interests, though, plotting intrigue to eliminate the competition. So, orders, the second Orleans expansion stimulates trade by introducing orders that allow you to grow your fortune, thereby presenting a new strategy in which you try to deliver goods to certain towns faster than any of the players. Okay, so that's this one with the trade, the orders. And then the intrigue one, which again, probably one I'm not going to use a lot because it's got a lot of take that in it, but some really nasty stuff in it, as you'll see. But again, you know, it does add some another element to the game, which, you know, some people may enjoy. So similar to the beneficial deeds board, the new intrigue board allows you to send followers there to hire various nefarious characters that thwart your opponent's plans. So basically it helps to, you know, to destroy like your other opponent's engines and things like that. So which again, I'll probably try it, but probably one I won't play with regularly. I know there's a bunch of ones like Ratto and other ones that probably won't, and I don't know, Dice Tower and Tom Vassal and stuff that probably won't use these as a lot. But and I think the guy from Gaming Rules too says he probably won't use it a lot. Although it is nice to have the option. All right, then finally the new beneficial deeds. The new beneficial deeds board. This is the one that replaces the town hall. It provides a lot of options, makes it a lot more interesting. You can now get essential goods, places, technology tiles, and even actions if you provide the appropriate followers. And then finally, the new events, trade, progress, as well as everyday life in Orleans are influenced by new events. The uncertainty of it and when events occur gives the game a new kick. So definitely a lot in here. Very thin, but a lot of stuff. So let's open up this one. And then we'll have the whole game unboxed for you. So I was going to do these in separate videos, but I decided I'm just going to do it all at once and get it all done with. So that way, and again, put timestamps in it in case you guys want to go to different parts of the video. You don't want to watch the whole thing, but I think it's all in one place. Alright, so here we go. And this is 2016 this one came out, so I imagine the Invasion one I think was 2015. So, it's not really a box, it's kind of like almost like a heavy envelope here. Alright, so let's put that there. Again, that probably won't stay up, but I'll put it right there. Yeah. Good enough. You guys know what it is. Alright, so here's the rule book here. Trade and Intrigue. Not very thick at all, but looks like similar format to the other ones. And it's almost like a fold-out thing, looks like. So it's only 1, 2, 3. The new events setup, of course. Looks like 6 pages in all. Shows you how to use the new boards and everything, all the different cards and buildings and whatnot. And I don't think it's any building. It's a few more buildings, I guess. So these are the new events, it looks like. I don't know, you can see them, how well you can see them, but not sure exactly what those are for. I have a feeling those are for the, since they're dark, probably for the intrigue board there. I mean, intrigue. And the game Lords of Waterdeep does have some intrigue cards in too, but those are kind of like a mix of positive and negative stuff. But these seem to be mostly all negative in this one, from what I can see. So yeah, so new event cards, and I guess a lot of these new events are negative too, as you can see by the minuses and everything. But there are some positive ones, I think, in it too. And some new buildings. Looks like the Brazier. Looks like it's some kind of a good trading place. Merchant House. And Sheep Farm. Interesting. And then this is the intrigue board. Again, probably won't be using this one a lot, but let's see what it's got on here. It's got Tax Collector, which is probably the mildest of the few. And you have your Torturer. So that's not sound too good. So it looks like that one will take coins and some people from you. There is torture in the regular game too, but that's like losing, I think, people or items and stuff. Hangman. That doesn't sound so good. Saboteur. Kidnapper. Fraud. Traitor. And then at the bottom, Arsonist and Spy. So yeah, probably not one I'm going to use a lot. It looks like there's 2 sides to this one. Not sure exactly what the difference is. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. One's for a 3-player plus, and I think some of these are only good for 3 players plus. So I'm not sure exactly what the difference is. No, this is for the 2-player. So the green is for the 2+ players, and the bottom 2 are for the 3+ players. So depending upon the player count. And then this is the one I'll be using a lot, definitely. It's the new, looks like the new Town Hall, the new Deeds board here. So this one's got alchemy in it. Coinage, you get some coins. Towing service, looks like some kind of a ship towing service. Sheep farming, Thanksgiving. Architecture, so let's see, the alchemy one looks like it just adds another person. Coinage adds coins, of course. Towing service adds another townfolk. Sheep farming adds some coins. Thanksgiving, some coins. Looks like architecture gives you a trading station and special worker there, I think. And then the town charter gives you a worker, and then navigation gives you an extra townfolk. Court lady of assessors, these are for 3-player plus. Looks like, I'm not sure, it gives you extra coins. And research gives you extra movement, I think, on the scholar track. And then there's the back side of it. Alright, so this one I'll definitely probably be using a lot once we get going. And let's see here. We got some, go over that in a minute. So this is kind of interesting. They put the cards in this here. They probably so they wouldn't get damaged, which is very nice. Which I saw this in one of the other unboxing. I thought this was kind of cool. So they didn't want, since this is kind of a little bit flimsy of a box, they put this in the cardboard so it didn't get wrecked. So these look like more cards. See if we can get this open. So again, not a ton of stuff in this one, but again, this was a lot cheaper, and but it does add some really cool elements with the new board and some new tiles, new event tiles, and everything. So that is cool. See if I can get this open. So initially, I'll probably just play the base game, and then I'll start adding some of the expansions for the solo versions and everything. Alright, so it looks like this just some more setup things on here. how to set it up with the expansions. Looks like a number of workers and whatnot to put on the tracks. And then these are, looks like some additional end game goals you have here. So for the trade one, probably to get a certain amount of goods in to this. Yeah, these are for the city. You have to bring a certain amount of goods to, like LeBlanc. You have to bring a wool of cheese and that. I always forget that special good there. Yeah, so these are the different goods you have to bring to, and workers and whatnot. You have orders you have to bring to different cities. So pretty cool. And the goods I know are, I think this one, this is just the back side of the goods. You have to bring 7 of any goods, I think, probably, for that one. So definitely some orders here. Kind of reminds me a little bit of that Uwe Rosenberg game, Mercator, a little bit. We have the goods you got to bring to different towns. A little bit like that. So I think these are all going to be good delivery cards. Yeah, it looks like that. Alright, I think I might have, yeah, gone through them already. Yeah, so nice addition there. So again, a lot smaller in that one. But some good stuff. So alright, so this is what you got. So you got your Invasion, you got your Trade and Intrigue, and lastly you got your base game there. So lots of cool stuff. I'm definitely looking forward to getting this set up and start playing it. So we have one more game to go. We have over here, we'll just show you quickly. We have the Barrage, which we have to get to the table. So, and that's our Lords of Waterdeep, which we just got. We did a video on that, but we didn't record the sound on it, so that's why we haven't posted one on Lords of Waterdeep. But once we get the expansion for that, we'll probably post a video on that too. So, all right, so that is Orleans with Invasion and Trade and Intrigue. So thank you for joining me. It's been Eric from Higher Ground Gaming, and we'll see you in the next unboxing video. Take care, and God bless. Bye-bye now.